Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To my beloved supervisor, technologist Dr. Suryati binti Akmal, and to the panels. Today, I'm Muhammad Nur Naim bin Shaharuddin from Faculty of FTKMP are going to present my final year project that entitled is the use of Kansei engineering for attractive improvement of passenger seat design at Menara Taming Sari. This is presentation outline. There are 8 sections. The first one is introduction, second is problem statement, third is objective, fourth is scope, fifth literature review, six methodology, seven result and discussion, and lastly conclusion. First is introduction. This study are focused on tourism industry in Malaysia. So tourism industry in Malaysia are highly regarded by all tourists around the world, especially from Malaysian citizens. Tourism industry is an agent for economic development, especially to the local, as it involves accommodation, cuisine, transport, and entertainment. Economic development helps with the growth of the country and its people. Creating tourism positive image has given a great pressure to Malacca state and local. Visit Historic Malacca means visit Malaysia is the famous slogan that introduced by Malacca state government in 2019. The declaration by the UNESCO of a World Heritage before and pandemic of COVID-19, Malacca has received 17.02 million tourists in 2018, which 66.6% were domestic tourists, while the remaining of 33.4% were foreign visitors. According to chief ministers, that foreign visitors were from China, Singapore, Indonesia, Taiwan, and Vietnam. So in Malacca, there are several most famous attraction of colonial past, which is Efamosa by Portuguese, Dutch Square and Statue by Dutch, Malacca Sultanate Palace by Sultan Mansur Shah, and Babanya Museum. The figure of this colonial site as shown. So this is Efamosa, Dutch Square and Statue, Malacca Sultanate Palace, and Babanya Museum. Next is problem statement. There are two problem statements. First is most of the buildings in Malacca are lacking of our unique identity. Second is Malacca has built new tourism place, but the designers ignore the customer unique requirement in their design. Next is objective. There are four main objectives in this project. First is to analyze the adjective words that best describe tourism site. Second is to identify existing Malaysian motif. Third is to propose an effective image in cultural product using Kansei-based questionnaire. And lastly is to evaluate the proposed effective image in cultural product using statistical analysis. Next, scope. The, the main scope in this project is the proposed approach will be limited to propose a sitting object in Menara Taming Sari. Literature review. There are two main point in this literature review. That the first one is Kansei engineering and the second one is Kansei word. Kansei is a term used in Japanese. Kansei could be the psychological feeling and picture of the user. Considering aims to create a certain industrial product more enthralling than others with identical features on market, enabling the customer to feel emotionally at home. It is impresses someone with all senses of sight, hearing, feeling, smell, taste, and knowledge from certain items, surrounding or situation. Next is considering is to identify and translate emotional demands into practical product characteristic. Lastly is considering is the design process leads to more efficient designs from an ergonomic standpoint. Second is concept word. Concept word is used to describe the emotion created by the consumer. This is subtopic of literature review that is related works on setting object. There are three related works that I put here. The first is from Sakya Nabila Hapsari that designing the application is on designing train passenger seat in Indonesia. Method is by facilitate the integrating impression and emotion of customer using Kansi engineering. Second is AT Pambudi that the most common application is the most common facilities is low table which leads students have to sit on the floor while studying on table. The method is the use is considering method was used with a total of 30 respondents participate. 15 consent words collected and 12 consent words selecting by doing validation and reliability tests. Lastly is Rahmadia Di Astuti that the application is design of driver seat. Method that he used is semantic derivation method to make subjective evaluation and conjoint analysis. Next, methodology. There are three main points for methodology. That the first one is survey. Survey is used to gain customer feedback, and from the questionnaire, the requirement for studies are determined. The survey is developed by Google Form. Next is semantic differentiation. That is to analyze data using consent words. And lastly, by using SPSS software that used to evaluate an effective design or image. Okay, this is my full project flow for this project. There are the main point in this project flow is develop a questionnaire using consent word, develop a questionnaire using consent engineering, and next is propose an effective image. Lastly, evaluate an effective image using SPSS software. The main topic for this project is result and discussion. That the first one is reliability analysis. This is used to validity and reliability for both designs are valid and reliable as its correlation coefficient have exceed 0.201 while its Cronbach alpha have exceeded 0.7. It is important to check the importance of concept to plan the new seat design. The relevancy is expressed by the correlation between each value of concept with the total of all variables. So the figure shows that A is reliability of modern design and B is reliability of traditional design. Both design is valid and reliable because their correlation and complete alpha have exceed its fixed value. There are 10 keywords that used to analyze this design. Next, I use k-mean cluster analysis. Cluster analysis is used to cluster the identify keywords in each suggested design. It is to determine the keywords that best describe and suitable with the product design that based on respondents or customer emotion and impression. So there are 10 design, that is 5 design from modern design and 5 and other 5 design is traditional design. So in cluster analysis that I can conclude that modern design one with the keyword of safe have the highest values of final cluster centers, which is 6.58, while traditional design 4 with the keyword of creative have the highest values of final cluster centers, which is 6.70. In this cluster analysis, I assume that have just two cluster. That cluster one is for 7 scale, and the cluster 2 is other than 7 scale. That is one from 1 until 6, from strongly disagree to strongly agree. Next, after all the concept have clustered, design concept mapping being developed to get the best describe of concept in product design. So the concept of comfort, spacious, and safe were the best choices among respondents that suits well with the seat design. As you can see in figure below, shows that the selected keywords from respondents be grouped according from the highest values of the final cluster centers to the lowest of the final cluster centers. Then the overall keywords then be grouped by taking the first top 3 repeated keywords from each of the seed design. So the final result of both design shows that found that keywords of comfort, spacious, and safe were the best choice. Next, for the final selection of the result is traditional design 4. The selection is based on its keyword of creative have achieved the highest values of the final cluster centers among others all keyword in each of the suggested design. It is as shown in figure below that the structure of the seat design fulfill of the customer impression and emotion as it has curved headrest, curved backrest, armrest, U-shaped bottom, and rattan type of material, a which is uh, a symbol of traditional design. Furthermore, the design is also suitable with all of the 3 repeated keywords that analyze in design concept mapping, which is comfort, spacious, and safe. That is why traditional design 4 is selected for the final uh, as the new passenger seat design at Menara Taman Sari. So lastly is conclusion. Conclusion for this project is improving and proposing a new passenger seat design by applying concierge engineering has been accomplished and finished. And all those identify concierge words are valid and reliable. That's all from me. Thank you.